Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Metal Magdalene with Jet. Tonight we have with us a special guest back on the show. We have with us Tobias Gustafsson of Cut Up. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we all know Tobias, of course, from the legendary and now defunct Vomitory. Then he played a few gigs with God Macabre, including the Maryland Death Fest, where we all enjoyed you puking in the alley.
Oh, yeah.
But then you went on to form Cut Up. So tell us a little history behind the band Cut Up, Tobias.
Cut Up was formed by me and Eric, who also was in Vomitory with me for many, many years. He's the bassist vocalist. We felt after we disbanded Vomitory back in late 2013, we both wanted to continue to play together in some way. So, before we ended Vomitory, we were talking kind of loosely around the idea of doing something new together, but we didn't have any real plans, really. So after the final show with Vomitory, which was in December 13, a couple of months passed, and then we started talk about it again, me and Eric, to start a new band. And from that point, it went pretty fast. I think we kind of knew what we wanted to play. We wanted to play death metal, obviously, and we thought of what possible members we could get for the band, and what kind of lineup we wanted, and the pieces fell together real quick with Anders Bertilsson, who was previously in Cold Worker, an excellent lead guitar player. Who also did some session work for Vomitory live. He filled in for both Peter and Urban at different occasions during the last few years. So we knew he's a friend, a great guy, and obviously a great guitar player, and we knew that he would fit great in the band. So we asked him, and he said yes, of course. So. And then we knew about Andreas, who is the other lead vocalist beside Eric, who Andreas also plays guitar. So we asked him if he wanted to try out the rehearsal with us. So we did that, and everyone was happy, and that was it. So we had a complete band, and then we started to write new music, and we wanted to write a complete album before, and we wanted to write a complete album and record it. So the first thing that we would release would be a full-length album. So no demos, no anything. We had the album completed when we went fishing for a record deal. So.
And that didn't take long at all.
Because it went
go ahead.
Pretty fast.
Because you were saying everything was going so fast. And no shit, I barely even knew what the hell was going on with you. And next thing I know, I'm like, what the hell? You're signed to Metal Blade. I mean, how long did that take? A week?
It took a few weeks, really. We actually were in contact with a few other labels as well. For people who don't know, Vomitory worked with Metal Blade for the majority of the band's career. So, I mean, we know those people, and we know that they're doing a good job. And Vomitory were happy with Metal Blade. That should have been the easiest way for us to just go back to Metal Blade without contacting any other labels. But we did talk to a few other labels as well, but the interest they weren't very interested, and but on the other hand, Metal Blade were very interested, and they offered us a deal right away. So it was actually a no-brainer. So we went with Metal Blade this time around as well, and we're very happy with that. I mean, we know each other, and they're doing a good job and all that.
So here you guys are, signed by Metal Blade, and then, you already, like you said, you already had your album already recorded. But what were you trying to accomplish while you were writing and recording this album? I mean, what kind of album were you going for here? I mean, you said death metal, but were you trying to be like more aggressive or less aggressive, or what were you going for when you were writing this album, if anything?
Probably more aggressive, if you compare to Vomitory, which I assume you are. And it's, of course, most people make that comparison between Vomitory and Cut Up for obvious reasons. I mean, half of Vomitory is now in Cut Up, so but and I mean, but we wanted to make to make our music a bit more diverse, I guess. That was the reason for me and Eric wanting to have 2 lead vocalists, so we can work more to get more interesting. I don't know if more interesting, but it's at least more intense vocal parts. It opens up. You have more possibilities when you have two lead vocalists. I mean, it's by no means something unique or groundbreaking. I mean, Carcass did it 25 years ago, so even more. But to us, it was completely new to work with 2 vocalists, and it was really, really nice and very inspiring to do so. And,
So here you guys are, right? The 2 of you guys from Vomitory. So what were, Vomitory fans' reactions to you 2 in Cut Up now? Did you hear any kind of feedback? Like, what are you trying to do? Why didn't you just keep Vomitory if you guys are still going to be in it, or anything like that?
Yeah, we heard a few comments like that, but actually the majority of the feedback that we got has been very, very positive. It has been more like in the lines of this is a great continuation, and things like that. But on the other hand, we wanted to make clear as well that Cut Up is not the new Vomitory. You know what I mean?
Right.
Of course, it's difficult to not be compared to Vomitory, of course. But we want in most interviews we did, the first interviews we did, we really pointed out that Cut Up is a new band. It's a different band.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys were
even though there are some similarities, but in the sound and music and all
right.
that.
Well, it's your style, But people...
Yeah, I mean that's our style. I mean, me and Eric, we've been playing together for 20 years, something, and he has his way of singing death metal, and I have my way of playing drums and my way of writing music, and he has his way of writing lyrics and arrange the vocal patterns and all that. So and I mean, we know by now how we want our death metal to sound, so it's that's how it turns out. So that's us.
So what if, you guys been playing out, of course, so what if some of the earlier, when you first got out there, what have some of the crowd reactions been to, okay, did you look at them were they skeptic at first, okay, let's see what the new Vomitory that's terrible. The Cut Up is going to be...
I don't think they were skeptic. They were
Good.
rather curious,
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and once again, the feedback that we got from the album, well, once it was released, it was overwhelming. Really,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we knew that we had made a great, really, really good debut album,
Mm-hmm.
but of course, you don't want to get too cocky about it, and
Mm-hmm.
but when you see, you get the feedback from fans, and you read reviews, and everyone, more or less everyone, is raving about it in positive words, and so it feels great, really, really.
And how long has that album been out now for? Almost a year?
Well, it was released by the end of June last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So you guys been doing some touring, but you got a lot of stuff going on this year too, right? As well. I mean, you just played a big show, right?
Yeah, and no, that was actually our second show ever. Cut
You
up.
didn't have to say that. You could have made it sound like you've been touring all over the freaking world, Tobias.
Oh yeah, I wish we did. But the first show we did was the release show in June. In our area. The second one was at a festival in northern Sweden called House of Metal.
Mm-hmm.
It's an indoor festival. It's not a big one. It's I think it's like 2,500 people capacity in that venue. So, but yeah, the lineup is very diverse. A lot of obviously Swedish bands, but also Satyricon and Destruction played there, and some more bigger names in metal. So it was a great festival, and the feedback was the crowd was really, really good.
And you got some more stuff now. Don't you have Stonehenge coming up this year too?
Yeah, I think it's in July in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
Played there before with Vomitory many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small festival, but they have some pretty killer bands playing there. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be sick.
Oh, I'm sure it is going to be. Now, are you still endorsed by Tama?
I'm a little bit in between, I would say, right now.
You're semi-endorsed.
Semi-endorsed. I can't give you a straight answer there.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Well, I was just wondering, because we got to get some drummy stuff in, too. No. Well, what's your current kit that you're playing on? You could tell us that, right?
That's a Tama.
Okay, there you go. And what about Metal Cymbals? You still going with them, or is that another one of these semi-endorsements, too?
No, I'm staying with Metal.
Okay, good. So have you gotten any new acquisitions as far as new pieces for the kit?
No.
You got to get shopping.
I'm pretty comfortable with my setup. Sure, a few cymbals differs from time to time, and sometimes I have two Shinas instead of one, and different splashes and so on. But the basic setup is more or less the same.
Okay, so now we all know your label mates, and Amon Amarth, drummer, left the band last year while Amon Amarth were in the process of writing their new album, which is going to be released March 25th, I believe. Okay, so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, these guys must be in a panic, and there you are, Tobias. They're ready for the taking.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went down. So how did you end up being the session drummer, I guess, for this album?
I'm friends with the guys from Amon Amarth for many years. We did a tour together in Europe for about a month. Amon Amarth and Vomitory back in 2002, and we had a great time together. We went along so well, all of us, and we just had a blast for 1 month, and then it's not like we've been keeping contact regularly during the years, but we've been running into each other at shows and festivals and so on. So I'm always having a good time when we get together. Yeah, and then they simply asked me if I wanted to help them out and share. Yeah, sure, of course I want to.
So by the time you stepped in, was the album pretty much already all written?
No, we were just they had been starting to write, had a few songs lined out already, but I was working with the band for the majority of the material, I would say.
So, this particular album, right, according to Peg, was written to play out like a movie score, more or less. So, as a drummer, and like you said, you were contributing to the writing, as far as your parts and stuff go. How did you approach this? I mean, I could just imagine what it's like in there. And it's like, okay, so song is kind of sad. So what do? Hit a little lighter on the sad songs? How do you approach it, especially when he's telling you that this is kind of like a movie score going on here?
It's the story that Johan has written, that the lyrics are based on, is actually written as a movie script. Mm-hmm. The full story. But we still play. It's still metal. Mm-hmm. So I definitely did not play lighter on the drums at any point. Maybe at some places you hold back. You don't. You just keep a steady groove instead of getting busy with the effect cymbals or a drum roll or whatever. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff.
So what's the Viking story behind the album?
It's about a guy who kills someone, like a powerful person in this Viking society. That so he has to flee the land. And then he joins this group of mercenary Vikings called the Joms Vikings. Mm-hmm. And
which is where the album name comes from.
Yes, exactly.
And I didn't know they were a bunch of mercenary Vikings out there called the Joms Vikings, and now I learned something new.
Yeah.
So, okay, now this album is kind of different in a lot of ways from the past albums. Now, especially in the case now, Doro appears on one of the songs with her nice little clean singing. Now, was she there physically to do this recording, do you know?
Oh yeah, she was.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I never met her before, and but she's such a great person and very professional in all possible ways, Mm-hmm. So she came to the studio in England, where we recorded with Andy Sneap. Mm-hmm. So she came to the studio we're there for 2 days and hung out and laid down her vocals. So yeah, it was really nice.
And it adds a really nice touch to this album because, of course, it does follow along in this story. And like we were talking, it's kind of written like a movie score. So just a perfect touch for that particular song that you kind of need a woman in there for. And, it just went really nice. At first, I was like, oh, no, what have they done? Before I knew any of the information about this, I'm like, this is going to be so weird. But then when you read about it and you read the information of how it was recorded and what, you guys were going for in this and everything, it absolutely was perfect. So did you have fun doing this?
Oh, yeah. It was really fun. But sure, I had some really rough days as well. I must admit. Working with I know the guys, but it's still working with a new band, and working with Andy Sneap. I've never met him before, and he's fucking Andy Sneap,
Exactly.
And in a new environment in his studio and all that, and I wanted to, of course, do my best and then some. So I put some really hard pressure on myself, and those days when I did that, I didn't play too well. So I had to take a step back, and calm down, and then go back and record it again.
So it sounds like, it was a little rough starting out there doing that, but, like you said, you get used to them a little bit, and you're like, realizing, you're just working in here as a drummer. It's not anything you've never done before. Chill out towards the end. And I was listening to it just before you called it. It's a great album, and you fit really well in there. Now, as I know you can't talk about anything about Amarth, but as far as I know, they still they still don't have a drummer.
They have a drummer.
Oh, good.
Not a
Okay.
permanent one. They have a live drummer.
Ah.
And I know who it is, but I won't tell you.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, well, I was wondering, because I know that with the release of this album coming really soon, that they have a lot of shit lined up, so I assume they had somebody in mind, and I'm sure we're going to be reading it on Blabbermouth next week, because they're going to be taking off pretty soon.
Yeah.
So Tobias, are you doing anything else that's really cool before I let you go that we should know about?
No, not really. We're trying to get more shows or cut up, obviously, and we've actually started to write new music for our second album.
Nice.
So we hope nothing is booked or anything yet, but we hope to be able to record it later this year and.
Awesome. So where can people go? I mean, your Facebook page, the Cut Up Facebook page, to find out what's going on with the band. I think you have a website too, don't you?
Yeah, we both have a website. It's cutupofficial.com, and the Facebook page is facebook.com/cutupofficial.
Okay, so people could just go there to find out what's going on with you guys, where you're playing, when you're recording something, all that kind of stuff. And Tobias, I'm going to let you get going. And thank you so much for taking the time out to come on here and telling us about Cut Up and your little stint there in Amon Amarth.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice talking to you.